Velkommen til Learn.tech, en læringsdugnad om teknologi og samfunn, med Silvia Ceres og venner.
Hello and welcome to Learn Podcast. My name is Silvia Ceres and my guest today is Jennifer Vessels, who's a future-ready innovator for Next Step or Executive Growth Alliance. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you here. We have been postponing our date and get to know each other better for, as you said, about 2-3 years. So finally.
It's wonderful to be here, and timing is everything.
Right, exactly. And this is the style of this conversation is really a live date between two interested people in the future. And you are a part of the series called something as interesting as WLT, which stands for Women Learn Tech, where we talk with interesting and inspiring women with perspectives on technology and the future. And you're in the middle of our target group. So welcome.
Thank you. And I do love the topic because just a little bit of context, my background is primarily in commercial, sales, marketing, partnerships, go-to-market for technology companies. I'm from Silicon Valley, where I do still maintain a residence. Back in the 90s, I was with a company called Ungerman Bass or UB Networks and came to Europe to build their international go-to-market and commercialization. And after a few years in Belgium, the UK, I joined Tandberg, based in Oslo, Norway. And that's how I came first to Norway, was for 4 years working with Tandberg, building international business, expanding across Europe, then back to the US, where we built Tandberg USA. And ultimately, I went back to Silicon Valley and founded Next Step with the goal of helping global companies, leaders, and that could be in startups all the way up to large companies. We work today with Google, Cisco, Adobe, and a lot of non-tech companies ranging from GE to Goodwill around how do you really grow your business, the revenue, the valuation, top and bottom line. And we do a lot in bringing people together to work together and solve problems amongst peers and amongst small groups. That's what led to the Executive Growth Alliance that I'll share more about as we get into the conversation.
Can you say a little bit more about your home base, Silicon Valley? So we'll get back to the comparisons between Norway and Silicon Valley later. But what do you love and miss about Silicon Valley?
The global ideas. I mean, we are a very diverse community. I mean, there is no one background or nationality. It's very much a community of collaboration. I mean, there is, of course, competition. But there's really a spirit of everybody in Silicon Valley is there with a mission and a purpose. 90% of us came from somewhere else. And so we're there intentionally to follow our passion, follow our dreams, build new companies, new ideas, new technologies, new ways to do things better. It's that open growth mindset that to me is just the pervasive nature of Silicon Valley. I'm starting to see that in little pods across other places in Europe and certainly here in Norway, but it's the core of the way things work in Silicon Valley to me.
We spoke about briefly ages ago about this. So I have my background. I'm originally Hungarian, Yugoslavian. Yes. Studied computer science in Norway, and then I went to Oxford for a PhD, and that brought me over to Silicon Valley in '99 to work on Alta Vista. And, you know, I remember the open growth mindset. It was a different time in Silicon Valley as well. It was more techie, nerdy than it is now. Now it's more businessy. And the other thing that I know is this unbridled ambition. And I don't mean on not necessarily behalf of, how much money am I going to make, but it's like, we are going to build the best whatever in the world, search engine or operating system or something else with chips inside.
Yes.
And we were going to there's no question, this is the best solution in the world. They really mean it. And I love that.
Yes. And that's part of that community of passionate, really open, committed, brave people that have a clear vision, have the persistence, and willing to do what it takes to break through and make things happen.
But so I've been trying to build similar things here in Norway and now lately in Learn, and people think I'm a little too much when I kind of try to build which has that level of confidence, passion, and persistence. Why is it achieved in Silicon Valley, and why is it so difficult to build other places?
Well, I think part of it is Silicon Valley is a magnet for people that have that passion. I mean, it is challenging. There are parts of living in Silicon Valley that are challenging. It's extremely expensive. The traffic and just the logistics of getting around Silicon Valley make it sometimes difficult. So people come because they have a strong desire and they want to be part of that magnet. They want to be part of the growth. They have that passion and that determination. And that, I think, is a core part that is lacking. And it's not a judgment, but it's just simply so far different from the culture in Norway. I mean, the vast majority of the population of Norway was born here. And it's in many ways, it's a quite comfortable place to have a good life without having to fight and struggle and do things that are against the grain. So it's just a completely different culture. I mean, Silicon Valley draws the people that want to break the barriers and go over the hurdles and fight through, whereas Norway has some of us that feel that way. But the majority of the population is from a different mindset.
I think it has to do with this ability and willingness to go outside of your comfort zone and being driven enough to do it. And, yet both you and I are here in Norway, and we have each our own reasons for that.
Yes.
Mine are very personal. I have a Norwegian husband, and I really wanted my kids to grow up in Norway for again, reasons that, I think would be valid for most women I know from Silicon Valley. Mm-hmm. I think Silicon Valley is unlivable for a family life. And at some point you have to make a choice. Am I going to, do it all 100%, 150% as is required work-wise, or am I going to find a place that, maybe has less professional growth opportunities, but has a more balanced life setting? And Norway is amazing in that sense.
Yes, I would completely agree. And people do raise families in Silicon Valley. I have many friends who have been there for 20, 30 years and raised families, but it's challenging. It's significantly more challenging than it is in Norway. But it's one of those things. It's a question. If your passion in life is to really bring your ideas to the market, breakthrough, drive change, if that is your passion, Silicon Valley in ways is a lot easier because that's way more accepted. It's way more common. You've got other people around you doing that. If your passion at this stage in your life, and things aren't forever, we've all seen things change. In this stage of your life, if you want to dedicate your priority to raising your family in a very high quality way of life environment, Norway is the best possible place to be at that stage.
So I would like us to use that as a magnet for talent. Basically, I think also there is a new generation of talent that, looks at, by the way, I read about the exodus from Silicon Valley. None of my friends are moving, but I hear that there is simply a move towards other places. It's slightly cheaper to buy a house close to Google headquarters now than has been for a long time.
Well, yeah, I've seen housing prices continue to go up actually right now. And it's interesting on this exodus, because if you look at the history of Silicon Valley, there is always a dynamic turn of people. And there are always periods where there's waves of people that come, that make a difference, they achieve their goals, they get to that reigning point where they wanted to be, the reason they came to the magnet, and then they go elsewhere. I mean, that's been a pattern over the last 50 years. So, what we have read in the press over the last couple of years of, oh my gosh, everyone's leaving Silicon Valley. I mean, I don't see that at all. What I see is a number of people that were of the generation that built their companies in the 90s. They're at the stage where they've reached their goals. Why not move to a less expensive place where you can have a huge ranch and enjoy your life and your grandkids? I mean, that's just part of the dynamics. While the next generation are coming in just as fast as they ever have. I mean, I see tons of growth with the millennials and the Gen Zers coming into Silicon Valley with very strong passion to be part of the engine that is there today. So to me, it's just a dynamic life cycle of how Silicon Valley works.
So I see also a pattern with these millennials and Gen Zers that are more concerned with sustainability, values, triple bottom line, and kind of quality of life in general than just winning the game. And so the question is, could Norway be better at employer branding of itself and actually attract some of these people? Because in many ways I see, check on many points that we have in Norway. We have brilliant deep tech groups. We have this ability to have interesting work and a holistic life setup, both for men and women, which I think is one of the best setups in the world. We have great education, healthcare, etc., for you and your family. So, and we have a public sector, by the way, that I think is both a rich and a knowledgeable customer with a lot of needs going forward. So if we were a little bit better at positioning Norway to get this talent to come to Norway, we could perhaps move faster forward. Or what do you think?
I completely agree. And in all of my 20 years of living in Norway, Silicon Valley, dividing my time between the two, which I've done the last few years, I mean, I totally see all of the advantages. I think Norway is the best kept secret in the world, because everything you named, the high academic, high research, high capabilities, skills in technology, science, commitment to really changing the world, that plays so nicely for that next generation. But it's a very well kept secret. And I feel like for recruiting people, as well as for taking companies out into the world, the part that is missing, which is a great opportunity, is how do we communicate it? How do we message the beauty of Norway? How do we reach those people with that message and bridge that gap to bring them here? Because I do think what Norway has to offer is ideally suited for the next generation of upcoming change artists that could really bring a whole new dynamic culture, bringing people from other areas to build their careers and begin to build their lifestyles here.
Jenny, one other thing that I think we talked a lot about is superpower that Silicon Valley has. And it's not just about building these amazing platforms or things with chips inside.
Yeah.
But I think their ability to think about business transformation and to conceive of new business models is something that very few other areas in the world are as good at. You are running Next Step, and you're trying to help companies actually conceive of their next generation business model and opportunities. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I think is often missed with Silicon Valley and what really drives people, I mean, there's firstly what I've talked about, the passion and the desire to achieve and the desire to make things happen. The second part is many times when we in Silicon Valley identify a new opportunity, create a new company, or see a need to shift business model, way of doing business, we tend to look at it from the point of view of where are inefficiencies in the market? Where is a problem that needs to be solved? Because I can take my passion, I can take my skills and go solve something and make a difference if I start with the problem or the inefficiency. Small side note, in Norway, I think there is a tendency to start with, I've got a great idea. I've got technology. How can I build it? That's completely opposite. The Silicon Valley mindset is, where is a problem and how can I bring something to solve it?
A side note.
Yeah.
A side note there. I don't even remember which of the books it is, but it's one of these luminaries from Silicon Valley that had a great, maybe it was The Hard Thing About Hard Things by Ben Horowitz. And he was talking about, what really differentiates a successful entrepreneur in the end from, all those others that try. And it's not necessarily, having the best PhD or developing the best platform or the best tech or the best product, or it's having this passion for the problem.
Absolutely.
Saying, what's your problem worth solving that you can't go to bed until you can't put it to bed until you've solved it?
Yes. I mean, I call it the rant. What do you rant about to your friend, saying, it drives me crazy? I mean, Airbnb started with a rant of, why are people paying $200 a night to sleep in a crappy hotel room when we have space here and we need money? Uber started with a rant. I mean, so that's kind of the mindset in starting companies of what is missing and how can I use my skills to fix it? When it comes to transformation, it's very much the same. I mean, I was extremely honored to be in a position with a Next Step client, Adobe, back in the mid-2000s. And Adobe, like most companies, had a really good run for about 20 years. Build a product, sell it, wait about 18 months, release the update, sell it, 18 months, release the update, sell it. And that could have gone through comfort zone for a long time, except there were signs in the early 2000s that some of the customers in the market were not willing to continue to pay that much money every 18 months. The world was changing. Apple was releasing a lot of new products that 18 months was too long to wait for new software. There was agile capabilities coming. There was ramblings in the market. So there was a recognition on the part of Shantanu of something is up and there's inefficiencies here. We've got to shift business model. It was recognizing that an approaching necessity was there. And with a little pre-planning, was in a really good position to do that. It then took 2 to 3 years before other companies recognized, oh, in my market as well, I need to shift. Now, how do I go about doing it? So to look at what do companies and leaders need to do today to transform, I would suggest they should look at where are the inefficiencies? What are customers asking for that they're not receiving? Where are they losing business? what's changing around them that could damage or impact the way they go to market now, and start shifting in advance of problems.
To be able to do that, Jennifer, you have to be continually or positively dissatisfied. I don't even know what the right word is, but it's like, it's not very easy. You know, when you're on the board of a company that's really making money and you need to take a risk to do something new because you know that 10 years from now we'll be in a really uncomfortable position, but I can't guarantee that this is the only and the best and the most efficient way forward. So how do we create that sense of urgency and necessity?
And I think it comes to a lot of mindset, and it comes down to, in Silicon Valley, you know, we all tend to have that passionate, make it better, willing to do anything to make it better mindset. So it's a shorter time from seeing the inefficiency to let's just dive in. And within the Executive Growth Alliance, which I should define what that is, it's basically a global community where we bring together leaders in different organizations, different countries, different backgrounds. We bring them together in small groups, 6 to 10 people, that have a shared challenge, a common, specific, actionable challenge that they work together and get different perspectives, and they hold each other accountable for taking action. And within that community of people that have achieved major breakthroughs in short periods of time through a process of taking action, I come away saying the way to really proactively drive change, make things better, be innovative, is the mindset that I call peace. And it start with your passion and your purpose. What are you trying to achieve? Understand that. Then explore. Ask questions of what are other people ranting about and seeing as inefficiencies. Explore where there's problems. And take action. When you sense that something is going to change or is changing, or you think it may be an opportunity, do something about it. Don't wait 2 years and research it and think about it. Just try it. What's the worst that could happen? If it doesn't work, you can try something different. So start with the purpose and the passion, explore, take action, and collaborate. Talk to others, bring others in to help you solve specific actionable challenges. I think in Norway, there is a tendency when you have an idea or a problem, there's a tendency for people to go silo. Oh, I've got to work on my problem. I've got to focus. I can't talk to anybody. I've got an idea. I'm going to go heads down and do it. The Silicon Valley mindset is take action, collaborate, share with as many people as possible. The idea is only going to get better. And in doing so, you empower others to come in with you.
I just want to draw in the position or the perspective of learn in here now, because exactly what you talked about sharing now, and it has nothing to do with all the amazing sharing that our guests are doing, but it's me as the entrepreneur now. And, you know, there is a tendency to think that I have an amazing idea here. I really believe that I should, just develop it as much as I can, and then get people on as partners. And we are in the process of looking for money at the moment. And in that process, we actually had quite a lot of strategic conversations, first with investors, and then we decided to talk with possible industrial partners, so companies that are doing something slightly similar. And, there was this risk of giving away all your ideas and then somebody else doing them. But what I'm seeing is that actually by sharing with these people, we are both developing our strategies. And there might turn out to be an amazing collaboration or even a merger down the line. And the growth that you get by bouncing these ideas off other heads that might have been ranting about something related is invaluable.
Absolutely. And that, to be honest with you, that is the Silicon Valley culture. 1 + 1 = 3. The overall, what you get by sharing, collaborating with others, in my experience, is always more than simply the sum of the parts. Because no two people have the same idea, looked at the same way, with the same goal and passion. I mean, so bring your ideas, what you bring to it, add it with someone else's, good things come.
Yeah. And, and even if people backstab you once, they won't do it again.
Yeah.
And the number of, my experience with people in general is that, 9 out of 10 are actually wonderful people that will just surprise you by how much they want to contribute and help and inspire. And then the one that doesn't do that, well, too bad for them, because they are getting, out of the game in the next round anyway.
Absolutely. And things come back. I have seen that also happen many, many times. So the risk of having someone take your idea, backstab you, hurt you through collaboration, from my experience, is significantly less than the risk of never bringing your idea fully to its potential by keeping it under the tent.
Right. I want to just play a little bit outsider-insider perspective on Norway with you. I'm sitting and thinking, I love Norway for a million reasons. It's the country that has been kindest to me in all possible ways. But I don't understand this paradox. On one hand, they're really good at dugnad, which is this collaborative work on something that is a social need. And yet we can't do a dugnad when we do entrepreneurship and business, the way that Silicon Valley does. Why is that? Is it kind of the mixing of money with a purpose that gets people worried, do you think?
Yeah, I have struggled on that one as well, to be honest. My perception on that from entrepreneurship or even large companies working together, it's really that there hasn't been a strong history of that there's less role models that show that that's good. I mean, within the Norwegian mentality, there is some fear of giving away what I have. And maybe that comes from needing to live in a harsh environment. You got to focus on your own. So there's that fear of coming together. There's not a lot of history of it. And without some examples, guidelines, motivations, it's so easy to just shrink back into the old ways. But I see that as being a huge opportunity in some of the accelerators. For example, we do work with Scheller, with some of the other accelerators, bringing people together, sharing ideas. There's such richness that can be done, but it just needs a few people to start out saying, I'm going to take the risk, I'm going to do it, and once I've succeeded, I'm going to tell and help others. Because we've seen that with some of the companies recently in the last couple of years that have broken through some of the restrictions for becoming international. I look at like Kahoot, Pexip, now Colonial. They're kind of becoming that next generation of companies that people can look up to and say, oh, it's okay to think bigger. It's okay to be commercial. It's okay to reach outside of Norway, and encouraging others. We need more of that in the accelerators, the innovation hubs, and the entrepreneurship, I believe.
I think it's really interesting. When I worked ages ago in fast search and transfer, there was this very strong contrast between quietly confident Norwegians that were amazing engineers and fixed everything, but were always very careful not to oversell a single millimeter of what they were doing. And then you had these very commercially aggressive Americans.
Yep.
And I also very brave commercial Americans, and it's the combination that I thought worked really well in that company. And so, if you have any advice to Norwegians to be better at both growing internationally but also commercializing internationally, what would it be?
Yeah, it really starts with know what you're trying to do. Back to the purpose, you'll see that there is an advantage and be passionate about what the possibilities are. And we do now have some examples that you can look up to. Look for the opportunities and just try it. Just try going outside the comfort zone, small steps, one tiny step of do something different. Reach out to that partner, connect with more people on LinkedIn and other countries, begin to have that dialogue. Just get started. Don't wait to take a course or get funding or all of the things that hold people back. Just try it.
Just go for it.
Exactly.
I have one more question, Jennifer.
Yeah.
And it has to do, well, actually, we're going towards landing. I have to try to keep to my 30 minutes. But I would like you to summarize your two acronyms, OCB and PEACE. And then I would like you to give us your life motto, if you have one.
Okay. So the two acronyms, open, committed, and brave, means that you are open-minded, you are open to new perspectives, you look for new ideas from people with diverse cultures, ideas, challenges. You're open to being challenged. You're committed means that you really do have a passion and you're willing to do, within reason, what it takes to succeed with your goals, which can include taking risk. And bravery means you do take those risks and you try things and you recognize you may sometimes fail and it may be uncomfortable, but you're willing to take action. With that kind of open, committed, brave mindset, I believe you can achieve just about anything through peace, which starts with passion and purpose. Know where you're going, be passionate about it. Exploration. Look for the necessities, look for the inefficiencies, look for the opportunities, and take action. Don't wait. When you see there is a potential, go for it, do it. And collaborate, because you can't do it alone. You need others around you. And through that, you begin to empower, which is bringing in others that share your passion and can work with you sustainably to really drive that for the long term, ultimately achieving your purpose. So by being open, committed, and brave, you can achieve peace as well as your goals.
Very nice. And finally, you've done transformations many times in your life, and you need a lot of energy, and things never work out as quickly as we originally think. How do you keep this passion burning? What do you use as your own mental tool to build grit?
Yeah, I think my biggest weakness is lack of patience. So yes, when things take time, what I really use is recognizing other changes that we have all gone through and the success that has come from it. So perspective, that it may not look rosy today, but there will be a tomorrow. I also rely very much on collaboration. I'm a community builder. That's just part of the nature of who I am. So if I'm having a bad day and not feeling there's possibilities forward, I reach out to others in the community that are having a good day, and we compare notes and we balance each other out. So rely on others where need be, because what we're in right now, it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It takes time, and you have to celebrate the little wins. You have to look to others to boost you up, and just recognize that there will be a good future ahead.
Very cool. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us on Learn, for an inspiring and very educational conversation. And I look forward to actually applying both the mindset of OCB and the tactics of peace.
Thank you. It's been an honor to be here and an absolute pleasure. I really, really appreciate it. So.
Du har nå lyttet til en podcast fra Learn.tech, en læringsdugnad om teknologi og samfunn. Nå kan du også få et læringssertifikat for å lytte til denne podcasten på vårt online-universitet Learn.university.